Grateful for all those comments. I think on this occasion actually Fleur probably got to my point of view in that within the proposal in respect of converting agricultural buildings to dwellings, there's a nugget of a really good idea that should be universal. That this is not the way to achieve it. Within the park, beyond the park, putting planning to one side, these sort of buildings tend to be owned by landowners. And certainly in Richmondshire and certainly in Dales National Park, those landowners have been around a long time. Therefore, although I quite agree with Yvonne, and they missed the boat time and again in the national park, we could have had a policy and tied it to local people. That's not what's being proposed. But the fact of the matter is, many of these barns will be converted if this policy did go ahead, and in its current form I don't support it. And it will be retained by local people who will live there for the rest of their lives. What we face in the Dales, and I've seen it from the health and wellbeing point of view, the public health report that's been published, we have a look at the population bells, you know, and you'll see from 2025 onwards, particularly up in the Dales and that's Richmondshire, there's a complete dearth of young people. They're not staying because they can't stay, because they can't afford to stay, because there's no housing. Many of these barns could be converted by those local families and they would stay. As it is now, I forecast a number of schools might have to close down in the 2020s. I certainly won't be around doing council work then. Many of us perhaps around the table. But it would be sacrilege to me to see those schools closed down because there aren't enough young people. Gallicide is down to 9 students. 9. Maybe because a local councillor there has got a reputation for being a tiger for hanging on, but every other school with 9 would have been closed by now. I know people in Keld, in Muka rather, who went to school at Muka School. And I even know people who went to school in Keld. Keld's gone, Muka's gone, Gallicide, let's be honest, down to 9 students. You know, you can't keep communities going without young families. And so the nugget of the idea that is so good about this is that it would be a way of keeping young local families local, but not to be achieved by a free-for-all. I couldn't agree with you more. Time and again at the planning committee, and I've been there 17 years, believe it or not, I have said what a good barns policy Richmondshire has. I've said it. Maybe one or two nuances might be necessary to be done. But what it does is allow barns by the roadside in particular that have no future whatsoever in agriculture to be used as homes. And there's plenty of those in the national park, in enclaves, in little villages that aren't within the development plan, that would find local ownership, local families living there, bringing that enclave to life, bringing that little settlement to life, and providing a base for local families to stay and keep our communities going. I say this from the heart. So there really is, from the point of view of well-being, in what's being put forward, the nugget of a really good idea, but of course the implementation is completely wrong. And putting aside planning, you know, we need to remember that also the issues around small businesses. I was looking at a report from the LEP. One of the highest percentages of self-employment and small businesses exists in Richmondshire. We were looking at that last week, weren't we, Tony? You know, principles around the idea of converting certain barns into homes for local people, quoting what a good policy we have here in Richmondshire, suggesting that what they are proposing would actually throw that good policy out, but not losing the nugget, you know, the thread running through the idea that yes, some barns could be very usefully converted into homes for local people without destroying the landscape, without destroying the environment, and actually benefiting the infrastructure within the communities. And that's what I think we can put forward using our power of competence, without actually then dealing at too low a level with the planning. The planning will make their own responses. I do think within our response we need to point to how well our barns policy has worked, how using that as a way forward, without all the free-for-all, might be a way that we could deliver that across the piece here in Richmondshire. Because Richmondshire is made up of out in the park and within the park. And we're very envious up in the Dales of what you have here, and we'd like to see it. Stuart.
Yeah, can you add something about affordable houses for
Yes,
local people?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned for local people, but if they're out, price-wise is bonkers, then...
In part, of course, Stuart, the affordability comes from the ownership of the site, which tends to be in local hands. That's the point. But I do agree with you that there's no way that you can stop, under the government's proposals, a barn simply being done up and sold on.
Yeah.
There were those opportunities, weren't there, Yvonne? And they were eschewed time and again.
No, it didn't move on. That was the point. And maybe if it moved on, maybe with the scenic, maybe the national park might become a beacon to do it instead of being involved with.
So we support what's being put forward from the planning committee in the way of, you know, we've already got something good, why spoil it? We'd like to share in some of the beneficial elements of that policy up in the park. You've heard the differences, without spoiling the landscape. And from the point of view of economic and social well-being, there are some benefits in what's being put forward. But please, let's have a better implementation. Jane.
Yes, just very briefly, Chair, and speaking specifically about barns or agricultural buildings, should I say, my real concern is if these proposals are accepted wholesale, as they are now, that you will actually see in all areas an asset stripping of farms and small holdings. Because I think very few of those barns and those agricultural buildings will actually be converted for the use of, or turned into affordable accommodation for the use of the farming families who live there at the moment and subsequent generations of farming families. I think a lot of them will be converted to high-end, top-of-the-range holiday homes, retirement homes, second homes, and you'll get people moving in who really have no connection to the area that those barns are located in, and really pricing out of the market the very people that you and I are trying to help. And I think it's potentially a really dangerous, really retrograde step, and I think we should be really resisting it. I really do think very strongly.
I hear what you say, but I think Yvonne will help me with this. She's lived there all her life. The ownership of barns up in the Dales is slightly different. And yes, of course, some will, because there's no restrictions to stop them being sold on to the second home market. But as I say, that leaves us in the Dales without the policy that you have here in Richmondshire, that would see a number of those barns being available for local families. Yes, it may be sold on, but I can assure you a number of local families have left because they're young local families, because they can't get a base in the housing market up in the Dales. And each one that goes takes away 2 or 3 of the youngsters who might grace the corridors and the classrooms of our schools, all of which are suffering declining roles. I really mean that. You know, we've got Bainbridge and Asbrick and West Burton. We're dropping down to the 40s and the 30s, am I right? Absolutely. So it's trying to weld the concerns that you have, Jane, and others have, which I share, with a desire to see something more akin to what we have in Richmondshire in the national